Let's talk about volume and surface area of rectangular prisms and cylinders. Surface area is where you're covering the outside of an object. Where volume, you are seeing how much you can fill in a shape. So for example, Jerry wants to know how many cans he can fit into his recycling bin. So this is volume since he's trying to fill the recycling bin. Right below it, Karen is wrapping her brother's gift. How much paper will she need? Since you're wrapping something around an object, this is surface area. How much more soup can a large can hold over a small can? So this is talking about filling a can of soup. So this is going to be volume. Pause the video and try the right column. Check your answers on the right column. Now let's practice. Here it wants you to find the surface area and the volume. So we're going to practice both. Let's go to our formula sheet. If you have a rectangular prism, okay, the volume of the rectangular prism is length times width times height. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to write my formula. Volume equals length times width times height. For me, it helps to define what each of these are, so I know I'm consistent throughout the entire problem. So for instance, the 7 can be the length, the 2 can be the width, and the 4 can be the height. So when I go to plug this in, there's no question what number I'm using. So it'll be 7 times 2 times 4. Work it left to right, and you get 14 times 4, which is 56. Volume is going to be your units cubed. So it's going to be centimeters to the power of 3. Surface area of a rectangular prism is 2 times length times W plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. So I'm going to write that down. And no, you do not need to memorize this. You will be given the formula sheet on assessments and your SOL. So I have 2 times 7 times 2 plus 2 times 7 times 4 plus 2 times 2 times 4. Remember, order of operations, state that you want to multiply before you add. So for each of these sections, I'm going to multiply. So here you get 14 times 2, which is 28, plus 14 times 4, which is 56, plus 4 times 4, which is 16. Now you add everything together, and you should get 100 centimeters squared. This is area, so it is going to be units squared. Now let's look at example 2. I'm going to erase this since I ran over into this box. This is a cylinder, so you want to go back to your formula sheet, find the cylinder, which is here, and you want to look at your formula. It's volume equals pi r squared times h. So when I come back here, I'm going to write that down. volume equals pi r squared times the height. Notice that you're given the diameter in the picture. Remember, the diameter does equal 7. If you divide that by 2, you get the radius. So in the calculator, I'm going to type in 3.14, not the pi button, 3.14 times 3.5 squared times the height. Order of operations state that you want to do your exponents first. So 3.5 squared is 12.25. Now you can multiply from left to right. Your final answer should be 576.975 meters cubed. Now we got to look at the surface area. Go back to your formula sheet. The surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times height. So let's write that down. So surface area equals 2 pi r times height plus 2 pi r squared. Now let's plug in what we know. 2 times 3.14. We know the radius is 3.5 and the height is 15. Plus 2 times 3.14 times your radius squared. Your teacher will need to see these steps: the formula, what you plugged in, your simplified answer. So in other words, you need to show that you're multiplying each of these sections. That'll be this next step. So you'll get 329.7 plus 76.93. And then the final outcome where you add those together to get 406.63 meters squared. You need to show all 4 steps for surface area and all 3 steps for volume: formula, what you plugged in, and your answer. Pause the video and try 3 and 4. Check your answers with the following problems. If you have any questions, ask your teacher.